So let's get into the content for today, which is eating for the immune system. So you're all here to learn a little bit more about that. And I, first of all, want to know what you guys do. What is part of your healthy immune system regimens? I'm going to shout out some things, anything that you do intentionally to stay healthy.
Water.
Yeah. Water, yeah. Working out. Yep, that movement is so important, whether it's an intentional exercise or just like non-exercise thermogenesis, you're just getting up and moving around and cooking things in the kitchen, all of that stuff counts. Okay, so if you think of more, go ahead and share them. Otherwise, what's that? Kombucha. Yes. We love kombucha. Yeah.
Sunshine.
Sunshine, vitamin D. All right, so you've likely heard that buzz phrase, boosting your immune system or something similar to that. What does that actually mean? What does the immune system actually do, and how do our daily choices affect that? So without an immune system, we would have no way to fight harmful things that enter our body from the outside or harmful changes that just naturally occur inside our bodies. And the main task of the body's immune system are to fight disease-causing germs or pathogens like bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi, and to remove those from your body, to recognize and neutralize harmful substances from the environment, and then also to fight disease-causing changes from inside your body, such as cancer cells. So the immune system is a complicated network. It's described beautifully by Lindsay Elmore. She's a health and wellness blogger that I learned a lot from. I won't recreate her work for you, but I will link to you in the event the blog post that she created that describes everything that your immune system does for you. So today I want to talk about how to eat for your immune system. Now, food is such a powerful tool. It can be used as preventative medicine. And I hope you guys all have heard that before because it's so true. So I'm just going to continue on with that train. So we need just a few basic tools to know what to eat and when to eat it. And my big theme here tonight is going to be to eat whole foods and a nutrient-dense diet. Our immune system relies on nutrient-dense whole foods to function well. Whole food means anything that isn't processed or altered. So eat foods that are closest to their original state as possible. Anything that is grown or hunted is usually a whole food. Things that you find in the middle of the grocery store aisles, like packages that have expiration dates that are like months and years out, those are generally going to be your processed foods. So things that have long ingredient lists are also processed foods. So can you think of some whole foods versus processed foods examples? I asked this to my cooking class students, and they kind of get confused sometimes. So I'll give them the example about something easy like oats. So they think, if I bring a granola bar to school, that's like a healthy snack. So then I'll challenge them to think about what's in your granola bar. Some ingredients are on your list. If you eat something like oats, bring a little jar of like overnight oats or cooked steel cut oats, something like that. You kind of feel like you're eating something similar, right? But one is going to be way healthier since it's a whole food source. So why are whole foods better for our body and processed foods worse? Well, with whole foods, the nutrients and vitamins and the minerals, along with protein, naturally occurring carbohydrates, and naturally occurring good fats are preserved, and they pass directly into your body. And your body knows how to use those foods, so you don't have to train it at all, which is a beautiful thing. So when foods are processed, that processing just breaks down and removes healthy components like vitamins, minerals, fiber, and it adds back in unnecessary sodium, processed fats, sugars, preservatives, and other additives that can be potentially harmful to your body. So based on time, I'm going to skip this little example where I kind of talk about potatoes and potato chips and French fries. And I promised you that there would be bonus content about a healthy French fry recipe, and I will link that in the event for you as well. So it's going to be a recipe with a video tutorial for you. Okay, so why is all of this important? Because we're here to talk about healthy immune systems. And death from infections in the developing world is often not due to the infection itself, but it's due to the body's inability to fight it because of a nutrient deficiency. So since more than 90% of Americans are deficient in one or more nutrients at the minimum dose to prevent deficiency diseases, even something simple like scurvy, we all need to focus on improving the quality of our diet. And especially like now with COVID, since diabetics are more likely to die from COVID-19 than the rest of the general population, and 1 in 2 Americans is pre-diabetic or full-blown diabetic, this right now is a great opportunity to go ahead and start cutting out sugar, and processed starch, which both can suppress your immune systems. So right now, there's just never been a better time to do a sugar and junk food detox. Studies have shown that refined sugars and starches can suppress your immune system even for several hours after you ingest it. So it's not just like you have a little treat in the afternoon and you're good by the time you go to bed. Like that suppressed immune system can be low all night long. So why sugar? Well, because sugar is inflammatory, especially white processed sugar and high fructose corn syrup. They drive up your insulin and glucose, which leads to insulin resistance. It also makes your cells less likely to take in the sugar when they truly need it, and that stresses your body out, and that can kind of be the beginning of adrenal fatigue. So if that happens enough times, you can just run your body into a pretty bad spot. So this doesn't mean avoiding anything sweet altogether. In natural fruits, for instance, the sweetness can be perfectly fine because it's balanced by the natural fiber and the phytonutrients in that fruit. But grabbing a Coke during lunch, loading up your coffee with sweetened creamers, or eating too many desserts can create sugar spikes, and those are what can really compromise your immune system. So limiting refined sugar and starch will help your immune system function better, and your overall health will improve. So what are some common foods that contain refined starches and sugars? A few that I can think of are going to be cereal, potato chips, crackers, cookies, muffins, candy, and frozen french fries. So, did I just take anybody's whole menu off the table? Yes. Okay, well, I hope not. If you're not sure what to eat, I'm going to share a post with you also in the event after this. That's going to include pantry staples that can be easily turned into whole food meal ideas. So if you, after the event, go on into that link. It's just going to give you some ideas on what to put on your next shopping list.
And then I'm going to sign up my kid for your cooking class.
I would love to have that.
Yeah, you should share that.
Yeah. Okay, so that wraps up number 1, my 10 tips. So number 2, ensure adequate protein intake. While most Americans do eat adequate amounts of protein, some do not, and generally it can be the elderly and vegan populations if they're not really tracking it or watching that. So protein is critical for immune function, and protein malnutrition is a big risk factor for death from infections. So you want to eat approximately 1 gram per kilogram, or about half your body weight in grams per day. So for example, I think it says this on your handout, a 160-pound person would eat a minimum of 80 grams of protein to stay out of that protein range, and then more if you're trying to actively build muscle. So to put that in perspective though, 1 organic chicken thigh, boneless, skinless, has about 22 to 24 grams of protein, depending on how big it is. And then a plant-based protein source, like legumes and nuts and seeds, the protein can be adequate if you consume it in enough quantity. And for that to be equivalent to a 1 4-ounce size of chicken, it'd be about 3 cups of beans to get the same amount of protein. So some people think, like, I'm just going to go to Chipotle and I'm going to, instead of 1 scoop of chicken, I'm going to have 1 scoop of beans and it's the same. So it's not, just so you have a picture of that in your head. If you're wanting to get the same amount of protein after you go do your super tough workout and you want protein afterwards, you should ask for like a triple serving of beans if you want that instead of an animal protein. It totally can be done. You just have to be aware of how much protein you're taking in. So know what those quantities are.
So how many more calories is that then for 3 servings of beans versus a chicken breast?
Yeah, and I don't have the calories, and that's a good point though too. So another thing that I advocate for is actually counting macros and not counting calories. Because if you're keeping track more of how much protein, how much fat, and how much carbohydrates you're taking in, that's going to give you a much better picture of what your overall intake looks like versus calories, right? Just like the 1 fun-size Snicker bar doesn't give you the same nutrition as like 2 cups of broccoli, even though they're about the same number of calories.
Oh, like 25 on Saturday. Fun size Snicker bar.
They're fun size. They're just like, it's
That was
fun.
fun.
Super fun. They're super fun, but it goes fast. Okay, so number 3, add garlic, onions, and ginger, and lots of spices like oregano, turmeric, rosemary. Add all those to your meal. Try them in your soups and vegetable dishes, as well as like bean dips and sauces. All of those are going to give you big flavor and wide spectrum antimicrobial properties. Number 4, eat multiple servings of colorful fruits and vegetables that are high in vitamin C, A, and phytonutrients, because all of those will support your immune system. Choose more greens like leafy greens, kale, arugula, spinach, romaine lettuce, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, peppers, sweet potatoes, and squashes are going to be high in beta carotene. So aim for 2 servings of fruit and 8 or more servings of vegetables. So no limit on how many vegetables you should be eating in a day. Just so you know, a serving is about half a cup. So it's going to be 4 cups of vegetables. And if you're eating them leafy, double that. So make that 8 cups. If you're eating something more dense like broccoli, cauliflower, it's just going to be that half cup for a serving. So it can look like 4 cups of vegetables and 1 cup of fruit every single day for your minimum fruits and vegetable intake. And for the kids, you want to just ratchet that down, of course, to match their body size. And that sounds like a lot of food, right? So once you are focusing on kind of eating all these good things, you're going to have room for like so many fun size hamburgers, right?
Did you get some more
Guilty
cups of
pleasure.
veggies then?
I did. We had salad for breakfast because it was Halloween. So I knew we had sugar for dinner.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5, you want to eat fermented probiotic foods. Drink your kombucha, right? Those are going to support your microbiome and your immunity. Sauerkraut, kimchi, natto, miso, tempeh, unsweetened full fat yogurt, kombucha, and kefir. The immune system is built by the gut, so keep that full of good bacteria, and that's going to be really beneficial for your resilience from illness. Number 6, you want to also include prebiotic foods. So the probiotics, which we just talked about, they need food too. And the prebiotic foods are going to be the best source for that. These include fibrous vegetables like asparagus, artichokes, plantains, dandelion greens, leeks, onions, garlic, bananas, apples, jicama, flaxseed, and seaweed. There are also some prebiotic supplements that are available, and in general, if you're looking for those, it'll say on the label that they contain fructooligosaccharides. That's going to be the prebiotic food for your probiotic bacteria. Number 7, drink plenty of fluids, especially warmer fluids. So consuming adequate fluids supports your body's function, including your immune system. You want to make soups and broths. I prefer from scratch with fresh vegetables, and then you just want to drink them throughout the week. So if you make a big batch of like bone broth or vegetable broth on the weekend, just keep them in mason jars as you go. Throughout the week, you just grab 1 jar out, sip on some broth. It's going to be really great for your immune system. Drink herbal teas like ginger and turmeric tea. Caffeine-free beverages are going to be best for you. Keep a bottle of filtered water with you at all times. Avoid concentrated fruit juices and sweetened beverages, as that sugar content can be harmful for your immune system. Last time I talked about fluids, Jennifer asked me, why warm fluids? Yes. So did you know that actually warm fluids taste better to your taste buds? And your brain likes them better also. The taste receptors that pick up sweet, bitter, and umami taste on your tongue send stronger electrical signals to the brain when your food or drink is warmer. So sometimes that's why people think of like comfort food, they just want something warm. That's part of the reason why. Also, warmer fluids help break up secretions in your chest so they can be expelled from your body more quickly. And that trick is especially useful if you're starting to feel ill. Now, one point I want to make on the timing of food, and this is going to be tip number 8 for you if you're following along with the slides. It's more beneficial to your body to have set meals and snack times instead of grazing all day long. It's important to give your body a break from eating throughout the day to lower acid production in your mouth, which is going to be really good for your oral health. It also is going to help your body regulate insulin production, so it's not constantly pumping out insulin to catch all those little snacks that might be good throughout the day. So we want to take a break from eating for a consecutive 12 hours a day. This happens naturally for small children because they often are sleeping for like 10 to 12 hours. They're not typically eating right up to the minute they get into bed and like the minute that they get out of bed. So 12-hour fasting can be done. I know sometimes when I say this, people are like, oh, no, I can't go 12 hours studying. It includes sleep time, which is great. You want to just look at stopping eating 2 to 4 hours before you go to bed. That's going to help you also get really good sleep. And then in the morning, if you can just hold off on eating for an hour, maybe 2, depending on how much sleep you get, that's going to put you right into your 12-hour fasting window. So this is called intermittent. Yeah.
Can you tell me, like, what would coffee break your fast?
If you drink plain flat coffee that your body is not addicted to, it does not break your fast.
That your body's not addicted to?
If your body is addicted to it and you need it, that will spike your insulin and thus break your fast. If you don't normally have coffee, you're like, oh, I just need like a little bit of something. It's like a little something extra that your body's not depending on. It doesn't necessarily spike your insulin to break fast.
Would that say your tea as well?
For plain unsweetened herbal teas, yes. Yep.
When you say intermittent, what does that exactly mean? What's best?
Good question. Okay, so this practice is called intermittent fasting. Some programs recommend fasting for up to 16 hours a day, and I recommend just seeing what works best for your body. So intermittent fasting, giving your body a break from eating for 12 to 16 hours every single day. Mm-hmm. So it's not like extended fast. You're not doing 24 hours. You can do 24 hours if you want to. It actually does help your body reset.
I guess I interpret it as like every 3 days.
Right. Yep.
So it's not.
No. And intermittent fasting, I have heard some people call intermittent fasting a diet. I don't think it's a diet.
It's a lifestyle.
It's an eating schedule, right? So it's just planning when you're going to eat and planning when you're not going to eat. It's the same as we do it for everything else. Everything else. We schedule when we're going to drive to work. We schedule when we're going to drive home. We schedule what time we're going to eat dinner. So planning the times that you're going to eat and the times that you're not going to eat, totally just part of your normal day. So some programs do recommend like 12 to 16 hours, like I said. If you're looking for maximum benefit, I have read a few very specific studies about 12 to 13 hours being the optimal fasting window, especially related to cancer outcomes.
What cancer?
To cancer outcomes. All right, any more questions about intermittent fasting? It's always a hot topic. Happy to answer more questions about
I have
it.
a different question though.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see anything where you comment on alcohol. I like bourbon fast, but what do you think? I mean, what do you think about that? Sports moderation.
As we're all.
Do I drink? I drink alcohol. Yes. Yes. I for sure drink alcohol. I just incorporate it into my daily macros. So alcohol can be easily tracked in your macros. You can count it as either fat or carbohydrates. And as long as you know what you're having, that's what I'm. The other thing about that, as long as you're eating enough protein to help your body metabolize the alcohol in an efficient manner, even the better.
Not in excess, right?
Right. Not in excess all the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You know, I try to go for balance. So yeah, if it fits in your lifestyle and you track it, as long as you know what you're doing and you're trying to balance your day and your week and your month, yeah, totally fine. Yep.
For me, the alcohol or the wine isn't the problem. It's what I want to consume after I have a
Yep.
couple glasses.
I know it's having cheese and crackers or maybe a couple Oreos.
Yep.
Some fun-sized sneakers.
I agree. I'm there with you, Jessica. Yep. And the thing is, though, too, if you have eaten to your macros for the day, you'll be hungry for that stuff later.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay, number 9, we're going to talk about how to supplement for your immune function. So there is an increasing number of health claims and promotions for supplements happening in this coronavirus frenzy. It's important not to go overboard, so we're just going to be sensible here. So let's talk with an overview of vitamins, minerals, and herbs that you might need and why they're going to be important for your body. So first is a multivitamin and multimineral. This is the foundation of any health support regimen. It's a good way to cover your basic vitamin and mineral needs for your body for day-to-day functions. If you aren't on a good multivitamin, you just get on one and stay on one. You want to look for a high quality, broad spectrum multivitamin, and I prefer them to be made from whole foods. So what does that mean? You can have vitamins and minerals that are chemically made through chemical reactions, or you can have those vitamins and minerals extracted from whole foods and just put into a capsule. So look for whole food sources of vitamins if you are looking for.
What is your vitamins? What do you use?
I use Living Master Formula for my multivitamins.
In the picture right there below.
Oh,
Yeah, it should be on the next slide.
sorry.
No, that's okay. The next one is vitamin D3. Adequate vitamin D, getting your sunshine, right? Adequate vitamin D status is critical for your optimal immune function. This cannot be achieved without supplementation in Minnesota during the winter months. Studies have shown that people with vitamin D deficiency are 11 times more likely to get a cold or flu, and while supplementing with vitamin D can reduce the duration of your cold or flu by 42%. So even if you start to feel sick, jump on your vitamin D3.
So do you take that in the summer? When you're outside?
It depends. I'll sometimes take like a half dose in the summer. Yeah, so for your body to get adequate vitamin D, you really need that intense sunlight on your back. If you are not getting that intense sunlight on your back for a couple hours a day, it's very hard for your body to get that, right? Because you think people want to drink in the sun on their face. Yeah, but your face does not do a great job of absorbing and converting vitamin D. So it's really your back that's the workhorse. Yeah.
Seriously, so all those hours laying on the beach.
I know.
You're going this way.
Sit by the pool. Yep. Lay on your stomach. Yeah. So if you're interested in vitamin D supplementation, it's best to get your levels of 25 OH vitamin D checked for accurate dosing. Your blood levels should be above 30 nanograms per milliliter. However, optimal levels might be closer to 50 according to a couple studies that I've read. So somewhere in that 30 to 50 range, your doctor will have a good picture of kind of what they go for. Some people need as many as 5,000 IUs of D3 in the winter. I don't recommend that anybody in here just like goes and does that by themselves. So Dr. Mark Hyman, you guys know him? He's a functional medicine doctor. He's got a great podcast. He recommends to start with 2,000 IUs for adults and 1,000 IUs for children. So during coronavirus, COVID-19 time, there is a theoretical risk for excess vitamin D, but taking 1,000 to 200 IUs should be safe. So of course, please check with your physician, get your labs drawn before you start to do any sort of heavy supplementation. The next supplement is buffered vitamin C. The role of vitamin C is supporting your immune system. We've known that for a very long time, right? Take 500 to 1,000 milligrams throughout the day with a meal or a snack. Next is zinc citrate. You can take an additional supplement or consume foods that are high in this powerful immune-boosting nutrient. Seafood, especially oysters, red meat, pumpkin seeds, those are going to be your best sources of whole foods. If you're supplementing, look for 30 milligrams a day. Zinc lozenges can also be helpful for your zinc intake. Probiotics, a healthy gut flora supports that healthy gut, a major barrier against pathogens, and it's integral to your immune system. So if you're going to take a probiotic supplement, look for brands that offer several species of good bacteria that contain at least 5 to 10 billion organisms per capsule. Lactobacillus planarium and the spore form of bacillus are going to be the best specifically for immunity. Official oil supplement or Arctic cod liver oil. It's an old-time remedy. It's good for your health and robust immunity. All of that still stands true. So in addition to the good fats, cod liver oil contains additional vitamin A and D for added immune protection. The next one is 1,3 and 1,6 beta-glucans. Research has shown that these compounds upregulate the function of your body's innate immune system. So the part of your immune system that's the first line of defense against viruses and bacteria. It helps your white blood cells bind to and kill viruses and bacteria. And I personally do a powder form of beta-glucans that I just bought on Amazon. I blend them into my protein shake in the morning. You can also buy capsules of beta-glucans. You can just take those just with your normal supplement regimen. Natural antiviral herbs. Many herbs have broad spectrum antimicrobial effects or immune enhancing effects. So formulas can contain different immune boosters such as astragalus, green tea extract, and monomorin, which is like a coconut base. Next one is mushroom extracts, such as reishi, maitake, shiitake, turkey tail, and cordyceps. So these mushrooms provide immune supporting properties. Cooking with medicinal mushrooms like shiitake is very helpful. So when I was little, my mom actually used to make this soup with shiitake mushrooms and goji berries. She would just simmer like a vegetable or a chicken broth, throw some chicken bones in there if she had them, and then she would just throw shiitake mushrooms and goji berries in, and we would just drink that soup like all week long. If someone in the house wasn't feeling well, she'd make a huge pot of it, and we'd all just have our soup for the week. And then of course, we would eat the mushrooms after we were done with the soup too, and then you can also consume those berries. So I know that was a big list. It's not necessary to take everything. Yeah.
Could you spread that out throughout the whole day, or could you just
Take everything?
morning and do that, or
So it depends on what you take. I always say that in is better than out. So if you remember one time a day to take vitamins, take them all. If you can schedule it in and take your multivitamin at this time, take your D at this time, take your C, with each meal, do that. Okay. But bottom line, in's better than out.
but not like anything on this list or they're not gonna like rule each other out. Or
They're not gonna be crazy interactive.
There's just certain ones that they say go off into a lot of food supplements or like supplement things like this, and the probiotics they say to take it with food. So again, like take it in the morning generally. I probably more of the full handful around at one time because otherwise I won't remember. Patrick's more like I take this at this time of the day. This helps me sleep. So I take these at night. So there are certain ones, but I'm just lucky that I.
Yes, yes, and I totally, yep,
well, and
I've
I've
heard
heard
that too.
you take them at night before you go to bed so that they can just process rather than taking in the morning because then they just like goes right through your body. I think it's a wild tale, honestly, but that's just what I heard.
Well, certain multivitamins too, like it might not make, like if you eat them on an empty stomach or you have too much, like it can make you feel a little queasy,
Right.
so.
Yeah,
you
some
can take some.
multivitamins especially will make you feel queasy if you don't have food in your stomach.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just because it's pulling so much out of those vitamins and blasting it all into your body at one time. So having some food just slows it down because of like the fat and the fiber in your food is just gonna slow the absorption. So that's why people usually don't feel sick if they take vitamins with food.
B12.
B12, yes. So I do take a Super B to a B complex supplement. It's not specific for immunity. It's more like overall wellness for energy. So that's why it's not on this list. But yeah, I do take a B complex too.
Maybe it's on your Instagram page, but I'm fascinated by like, what does your day look like?
An intake of food,
Yeah.
vitamin, all like if you're talking about the schedule, like share the schedule.
It's a lot. It's a lot to fit in.
I believe you.
If you're doing a
I'm
12-hour,
excited
a
to
10-hour,
see it.
or an 8-hour. Yeah. Yeah. It varies throughout the day.
And
We
she's
talked
just
about that.
twins.
I mean I saw that. Like
So
I'm like
you
share your
sometimes
schedule.
do a 12-hour fast and sometimes do a 16-hour. Yeah, it depends on my day. I always do a 12.
Yeah.
No
I
matter
think
what,
I always do
a 12.
it also, not necessarily intentionally, but like I would be done eating by 6 and I won't eat until at least 8, so that's actually 14.
Right.
But 12 is usually my time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was wondering because you said eating consistently every day, like I'm usually
So
12 to 14.
Yeah,
And
so I'm right in there
no
too.
big deal if it varies.
Yeah. Yeah. And once you're used to it too, if something happens during the day and you get pushed into like a 16-hour fast, really it's no big deal for your body.
Yeah.
Your body knows what's happening.
Okay.
It knows it's going to get food when you're ready to give it food, right? So if you're in that habit, not a big deal. It did take me a while to get used to it when I first started.
And then I'm gonna jump in again. Kelly, you asked a question about chicken versus beans. I put it in my fitness app. So, which I didn't expect it to be any less than this. The calories in your 4 ounces of chicken is like 150. So I do Kirkland organic chicken. Put in your black beans organic, 548.
Yeah.
And 3 cups. I mean, no one's gonna order 3
Right.
That's a lot of beans. 34 grams, 31 grams of protein, same thing. So ours,
Both of them here.
your chicken has this many carbs. You don't want to know the amount of carbs in your black beans. I was a vegan for a lot of years, so I remember that. But you were trying to get full then, that satiated you, and having a good carb, right, is better carb than having the bread.
Right. Yeah.
But there's 80.
Wow.
Black beans in black beans. But when you're eating, usually people who want to eat the 3 cups, they're vegan, right?
Yeah.
They want to have that fullness, which you're getting that from your beans and your.
Also a lot of fiber though too. If you eat 3 cups of beans, you get a lot of fiber. So your net carbs are not as high.
I don't have that.
Yeah, no, and that's okay. Any more questions about supplements, anything like that? Okay, we'll move on to number 10. The 10th tip is a big one. Kick common household chemicals out of your home. Start using plant-based solutions. By doing something as simple as bringing some well-thought essential oils and a few personal care items into your home, you can totally eliminate hundreds of chemicals from your daily life. So for those of you who want to know more about how that works, I'm going to post a link in the event called Healthy Swaps. It's a class that I did earlier this summer. Like 15 minutes to watch it. It's going to talk you through just a really quick couple healthy swaps that you can make in your home to get rid of all those bad chemicals. I also have an essential oil starter kit here with me today. If you want to check it out, I can show you just how to get started with your essential oils, we'll jump on the website and you can get that going tonight. The easiest and the most important things in your home to get rid of are, number one, dryer sheets, the most toxic thing in your home. Please stop using dryer sheets if you are using dryer sheets. Actually, in Canada, if you have dryer sheets that are not used straight out of the box, you can't throw them in the trash because they are classified as hazardous waste. There's lots of nasty stuff.
We'll get dryer balls from Trisha. Like, seriously,
Norway.
Yes, Norwich dryer balls are really great. Yes. So please stop using dryer sheets. But hey, in Canada, once you run them through your dryer and all those chemicals transfer from the sheet to your clothes, you can go ahead and throw that sheet in the trash. Okay? So you have all those chemicals on your body next to you all day long.
I stuff dryer sheets and I have a little cup in my car.
Yeah? Because they make it smell.
that should be
Yep.
Yeah, that's a different.
It's a different use.
Yeah, it's different use.
Yeah.
It's like ammunition.
So push steel wool in there instead.
Take your
Instead of dryer
sheet dryer and run it underwater and see if water goes through it. Then you'll get rid of your dryer sheet. I promise. You'll see how it's coated. And
What about liquid fabric?
Same.
Same thing.
Yep. Same. Nasty. Yep. The next thing, liquid detergent with synthetic chemicals, surfactants, and fragrances. Even the ones labeled free and clear, they're going to have a lot of those things in them. Cleaning sprays like 409, Windex, Clorox, and bleach. They're bad for your respiratory system. Some of that stuff is known carcinogens, so please stop using those. Soaps and shampoos containing fragrance, SLS, SLES, and chemical surfactants. Perfumes, colognes, and body sprays. Stop using them. I know.
Use what in it?
Perfumes, colognes, and body sprays. Hundreds of toxic chemicals, including parabens and phthalates, are in those sprays. So you know how like somebody comes into the room and you're like, oh, I can smell their perfume, and they leave and you can still smell them like an hour later? That's the phthalates and that's the parabens that are hanging around in the air. I know. Yeah, it's just the chemicals.
What's wrong with that? That's.
Yeah, so anything that you look at the label and it says fragrance, that is a way that chemical companies can hide up hundreds, thousands, there's no limit on it. They can hide ingredients in that catch-all phrase fragrance because the government has determined that fragrance is a proprietary blend. It means a proprietary blend, so companies don't have to tell you what's in them. Okay? So it could be anything.
So it could be okay or something like that.
It's doubtful that it's okay, honestly. Companies that don't put that stuff in their ingredients tell you what all the ingredients are. Yeah. The next thing, candles and wax warmer blocks containing fragrance, room sprays, and air fresheners.
I will say, so, room fragrance, air fresheners, like the plugins, gross.
Yeah.
Get rid of, if you have a plug-in that plug-ins to your outlet, they smell amazing. But they are so bad. So I had a friend whose husband was diagnosed with cancer and went crazy town on all this stuff. But that was a long time ago, and that was my first introduction on like really detoxing because of disease, right? And so ever since then, I've just kind of been taking these little notes, and I'm like, okay. So Febreze, gross. Like plug-in stuff, gross. We have our home in Florida. We just had somebody ask us, do you use any Febreze or air fresheners? And there are so many people that like a fragrance, like there are a lot of people that are allergic to fragrance or allergic to any type of spray. And you know, I used to think like they're like super sensitive, like what's that? But it is happening more and more. And I think it's because our bodies are exposed to so many more things. So, you know, like onesie, twosie little things, somebody might be sensitive, but when now that we're exposed to so many artificial, so much artificial. Anyways, so the Febreze and the plug-in and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yes, we are in this country bathed in chemicals all day long. We don't even realize it because it's normal, right? So a good alternative to use if you want your home to smell good is a diffuser. You just put water and a couple drops of essential oil in there. Simple solutions, right? So you take a look at my healthy swaps class I'm going to post for you, and you'll get a ton of really easy tips.
So fragrance, I love a good, and I don't even use spritz anymore. I would use like a dab, but she's helped me make like oil roll-ons. So then I'll do do a roll on, and I had a friend again that like, she'd always smell amazing. Well, Diana does too. But other than Diana, and so she would have these, and it's just like, there's other ways to
I'm gonna pass this one around.
make yourself smell
I'm
good.
just gonna put a drop on my wrist. This is gonna replace your perfume of your full on your body spray. So that one's called Stress Away. There's many more here if you want to check them out after. You're free to open anything and smell anything. All right. So have this on my. Okay, so I talked about an oil starter kit and a supplement suggestion. So if you want to turn either of those into a starter kit, options right here. Let's chat about that afterwards. Okay, and then bonus, I didn't know that I was initially going to plan for an 11th tip because 10 sounds really good, right? 10 tips to like a healthy immune system. So I'm just going to give you number 11. This is probably the most important thing that you can do, and it's like the thing that hardly any of us does. Get good sleep at night. So allow your body to get actually 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Not like get into your bed and 7 hours later get out of bed. Like let your body
That
sleep.
doesn't sound like drinking Facebook in my bed, right?
No, let your body sleep for 7 to 9 hours.
That was my New Year's resolution.
Yeah. So uninterrupted sleep each night, it can just make a world of difference for your immune system. So go ahead, turn off your TV, lock up your phone at night if you have to, charge your phone downstairs in the kitchen before you go up to bed, if that's going to help you. Go ahead and just get to sleep. So,
You lost him with the sleep thing.
I know. Yep. So if you're someone who has trouble getting good sleep, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep, I do have a lot of ideas about that. So let's chat about that after we're finished here. I do have a ready-made sleep challenge that I can send right to your email inbox. It's just 6 days of sleep challenge. Each day is going to give you one new thing to add to your routine or take away from your routine to see if you can get better sleep. Yep. Yeah. So the thing, like TV in your room though is okay, phone is not.
That's so funny.
I don't know, but it's all.
So if you are someone who likes to watch something at night, TV's okay, don't watch it on your phone. Yeah. So if you want that, I'll drop the link for you in the event, but it's dianadutcher.com/sleep-challenge. Yeah, and that's kind of it for me today. If you enjoyed this seminar, my good friend Stephanie and I, we do teach in the Hassle-Free Family Facebook group. Just like this, we switch off weeks. So Stephanie's on this week. She's actually doing healthy homemade soups this week, which is kind of fun. Last week, I did a whole topic on teaching plastic out of your life. So go ahead and check that out. You can just search Hassle-Free Family, and we'll let you right in. So thank you for having me, Jennifer. Thanks for having me. And to all you guys too, I'm so glad that you guys have like made this a really like awesome working group, and I'm excited to be back with you again in the future. So
Thank you.
thanks for having me.